Imagine for a moment you go to bed at night and you sleep. You wake up in the morning, no alarm, but you see the sun shining through your windows and you say, oh, let me get up here. Let me see what's going on. You check your phone. You go ahead and you log in, scans your face. You log into your portfolio and you see you just made more money just by waking up from stocks than you make from your full-time job or from your business. And this is something that 16 years ago I dreamt of. I knew there were people living this sort of life, and not a small amount of people. There's millions of people in this world that they make more by just waking up in the morning than many people make from a full-time job in an entire year, or from a business in an entire year. And so a great example of this is Friday, right? Friday, I wake up, I make $80,000 plus just in the public account alone. There's one stock portfolio I have, right? My first job other than cleaning pools for my dad, right, in his small pool cleaning business, my first real job was Einstein Bagels. I took orders, I cleaned dishes in the back, I made $7.50 an hour. My second job, what a come up, was Walgreens. I worked the photo department, making $8.25 an hour. From there, I got my first good job as an overnight assistant manager at Quick Trip, QT, making $40,000 a year. Then I got promoted, worked my butt off, started making $50,000 plus a year at Quick Trip, right? Think about that for a moment. $81,000 plus up in one day in one portfolio versus I used to make $50,000 a year in an entire year working 46 to 49 hours a week. Let that sink in for a moment, right? So, in today's video, we're going to go into 3 stocks that everyone needs to own or be buying right now. A $50 buy can change your life forever. And I'm talking forever, right? And most importantly, in today's video, I'm going to change a lot of people's perspective around investing, around taking this serious, which I think is a very important thing. I do this here today because a lot of people have a lot of viewpoints the wrong way, and I need to change some of those viewpoints in this video. There's one thing and one thing only I ask for you guys. I'm recording this on a Sunday for you. It's one thing only I ask for you guys, and it's for you to smash that like button, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we just hit a new all-time high subscribers in the history of this channel. I appreciate everybody for being here. It's all I ask. I hope that's not too much to ask. Make that like button glow, okay? So, the public count. Let me address this. This portfolio is near $3.1 million now. I would say for 90% plus of people, it's an unrelatable number. It's completely unrelatable now. It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's insane. Like, that's a ridiculous amount of money, right? I know there's some big ballers that watch my channel. Maybe 5% of you guys or 10% of you guys are like, oh, I see that. Like that's cool. That's a number somewhat I have, or, I'm getting there. Like maybe in a few years I'll be there, right? Maybe some of you guys even have portfolios bigger than that. And so a lot of people look at this and they think that's impossible. Like I could never do that. No. There's no way, right? Check this out. I want to show you something very important here, because this portfolio didn't just magically get to $3 million plus. What I'm showing you right now is a screenshot from December 8th, 2023, a year ago. Look at the portfolio then. The portfolio was $1.7 million, not $3.1 million. It was $1.7 million a year ago. Let me take you back, way back. I remember I was getting wrecked in this market. This is shortly after I started the public count back in 2018, right? The portfolio back in those days was a $159,000 portfolio. So we've been scaling and scaling for quite a while. Look at this screenshot from December 6, 2019. Remember, every single buy and sell I've ever made in that portfolio, I always post it in my private stock group, right? Look at this. Back in December 2019, December 6, 2019, the portfolio was $388,000, the portfolio back then, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. That portfolio didn't just magically grow to $3 million overnight. It's happened over years and years and years. And it's happened over a lot of drama. It's happened over some bad decisions and a lot of great decisions over the years, right? And we kept building and building and building and building to what it is today, which nowadays we look at it and it's like, wow, it's just this massive amount. It wasn't always that way, right? And so think about this for a moment, right? What's it matter if I invest? When I started investing, working at Walgreens, and I could put such small amounts of money away, I could have easily looked at it and I could have said, it's such a little amount of money, like there's no reason to be buying stocks. Like, what does this even matter? What does it even matter? Okay, I'm going to invest, like my first investments were like $250 in the market. I would have to save up, because back then you couldn't buy partial shares of stocks like you guys can nowadays. You guys can all, basically almost through every major brokerage, you can buy partial shares of stocks. So if a stock's $1,000, you don't need to pay $1,000 for it. You can buy partial shares of that. Additionally, back when I first started in the market, it was 1995. Every time I bought or sold a stock. Nowadays, you guys literally get to buy stocks for free on these apps. On all these websites, Fidelity, Robinhood, all these guys. It's all free now. You can buy and sell. It doesn't matter if it's $1,000 worth of a stock or $1 billion worth of stock. You can buy and sell it for free. It's unbelievable. That wasn't like that when I first started. So I would have to save. So my first investments were like $250, $500, such small amounts of money. I could have easily looked at it back then, said, what's it matter? 250 bucks? Okay, let's say I double that. Big whoopee. I got 500 bucks. What am I going to do? Take myself out for a couple nice dinners? I could have easily looked at it from a negative Nancy standpoint. The glass is half empty. I could have easily taken that approach, right? But I did not. I understood I'm building to something. This $500 is going to matter a lot in the future. This $250 invested, this $1,000, right? And it was a process of building the wealth over years and years and years. And one of the biggest things to get your mentality right, I'll tell you the biggest thing. This is what you need to do. You need to play around with a compounding calculator. The moment you play around with the compounding calculator, your mindset will change forever. That was the epiphany, if we want to call it that, for me personally. I never heard about a compounding or what a compounding calculator was until I was in college, freshman year of college, right? I had an incredible accounting instructor back then who took us through compounding and had us play around with the compounding calculator. And you were able to see like, oh, if I save up this much, invest this much, get this level of return over a 5-year span, it adds up to this, a 10-year span, 50. And all of a sudden your whole mentality starts to change very quickly. And instead of looking at it as, oh, it's only a little bit of money I'm investing, suddenly you start to realize this is everything. Like this is the most money in the world. This is incredible, right? And that was a moment that changed everything for me. And so for those of you guys that might be out there that might be thinking like, it's small amounts of money I'm investing, it doesn't matter, like if I double it, who cares? Trust me, it's the wrong mentality you have. When you start to learn about compounding and start to run numbers on building a portfolio over a given period of time, you start to think completely differently. And you start to think in 5, 10, 15, and 20-year spans rather than over the next 5, 10, and 20 days. And that's how you get to the big money. That's how you get to the big wealth. And if you want to know one of the biggest hacks, the 1% always use and they used for their success, it's understanding to think a little longer term. It's in order to understand, like, as any of these business legends that you could ever look up to, investing legends, they all think way past tomorrow. They're thinking years out. Many of these guys are thinking decades out. When Zuckerberg goes to create a new product for Meta, he's not thinking about even the next 5 years. He's thinking about the next several decades. That's the sort of mentality you got to have. And if you can get to that standpoint mentally, everything will change forever for you, right? And so I'm very happy I didn't look at it that way. And you know what's so silly about this is imagine if people did this in other walks of life, right? Because people do this all the time in regards to investing. I think it's such a small amount of money. What's it even matter? Like, oh, if I double it, it's nothing, right? They think so wrong. And imagine if imagine if athletes thought about this. Imagine if Lionel Messi thought like this, right? He's like a kid and he's like, there's no point. There's no point in me even practicing soccer. Like, what's the point? I'm so weak compared to those adults, those pros. Like, why do I even need to practice, right? Like, do you think he would have became such a great soccer player if he thought like that? No, of course not. He doesn't think like that, right? Imagine if Usain Bolt thought like that when he was a kid. He's like, why am I even out here running all these sprints? Like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm dying every day. What's the point? Like, I'm so slow compared to these other guys anyways. What's it even matter, right? So you could always think like that. Don't play the comparison game. Don't play the comparison game. No. There's one person you're competing with. One person. It's you. It's all that matters. You're being the best you could be. It's another thing I learned in college. Like, it's about you being the best you can be. It's not about you being better than somebody else. I don't look at my level of wealth today and say, oh gosh, I'm nothing compared to Warren Buffett, so I might as well not even try. Like, what? Of course not. I'm comparing myself to me. I'm trying to be at a better place 3 years from now than I am today. And 3 years ago was the same story, right? That's how you have to think about this game. And if you want to really achieve the big money, you got to get into this sort of thought process. It's not about like right now. It's not about me versus somebody else. It's about me versus me. Am I getting stronger? Am I getting better? Am I getting mentally stronger, right? Am I getting more financially fit? That's what matters in the end. So what I can do today is I can say thank you to young Jeremy for not having the glass half empty view of this world, of investing, because if I had that viewpoint, I can tell you I would not have been able to achieve all the stuff I've been able to achieve over this past 16 years. There's no way that's possible. You got to have an optimistic outlook on the world, on yourself. You got to believe in yourself. And when you start to do that, you can start to think differently. When you understand compounding, you start to think differently, right? And for everybody watching this right now, the goal should be in 10 years from now that you look back at yourself today and you say, thank you, thank you, thank you for putting in the work, for striving to be the best, for doing what you got to do, right? That's the way you want to look back. And the worst place to look back is in 10 years from now, you look back and you say, oh, like I wish I would have had a different mentality. And I see comments sometimes from people. Sometimes it's older folks will leave me comments, right? Because my channel is very heavy 20 to 40-year-olds, but a decent amount of people watch my videos that are 50s, 60s, 70s. And I see the comments sometimes. It breaks my heart. Hey, I'm 68. I just came across your channel. I wish I would have thought like this, 30, 40 years ago. Breaks my heart to see that. Because that's somebody looking back at their life and saying, like, I wish I would have been doing this a long time ago, right? And it's good they're taking steps now, right? That's good you're taking steps now to get to where you want to get in the future, right? So you don't look back at another 10 years and say, I wish I was there. But it's just like, it's sad for me to hear that because I'm like, dang, if they would have just like known this stuff sooner, like if they would have just taken investing serious or compounding, like where would their life have been? Like the things they would have been able to do, right? The people they would have been able to help in this life. Like there's just so much that comes along with that, man. And so it's really, really powerful when I read those, right? So the Patreon portfolio, this is a more relatable amount. This is a $31,000, almost $32,000 portfolio. Now, I started this portfolio in 2023 with $100 and $150 a week in deposits, right? And then this year in 2024, I took it up to $250 a week. So very relatable amounts. Like everybody that watching this video, you should have at least $150 a week to invest. If you are watching this right now and you do not have a minimum of $150 a week to invest into your portfolio, where's your issue? Is it income or is it expenses? Where is it? It's either income or expenses. Either you're not making enough, you need to get a second job or a new job, or you need to figure out something, or start a side hustle, a side business, something like that. Or you have an expense problem where you're just blowing all your money, right? And I've known plenty of people, even some people that make 100K plus a year, several 100K, that man, they just blow all their money. They got nothing to show for it, nothing to invest ever, and they're living paycheck to paycheck with, even though they're banking money, right? So if you're watching this, you can invest at least 150 a week. Where's your issue? Is it income or expenses? Everybody watching this video right now, I hope you can invest at least 150 a week, if not 250 a week, 350 a week, 450 a week, something like that, right? But this is a portfolio I started, and look at the results, look at the success of this portfolio. It's incredible, right? By the way, if you want to support my content plus see all the stocks I'm buying and selling each week in that portfolio, you can always look at the description area of my videos. Always have a link for Patreon if you ever want to access that. It's phenomenal, especially if you're in your first year of investing, getting to see all the stocks I'm buying and selling each week. Like it's incredibly valuable to see exactly how I build out a portfolio, right? Now, there's something really powerful I heard actually recently. Jeff Bezos, he did basically an interview conference this past week. And obviously Jeff Bezos is one of the biggest legends in the history of business, right? And in the money game. And he said something that I thought was pretty powerful. He said, thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy. 100% true. Like, let that sink in for a moment. Thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that was so powerful when I heard him say that. I was like, dang, man, like, that's so true. Because if you think small in this life, like, what you're going to get is small results. That's just the truth. Like, you're never going to be able to achieve anything big if you're just, like, in that mindset of thinking small all the time, right? And myself, I'll tell you guys a little bit about where I'm at mentally, right, when it comes to this whole money game and competing with myself. I'm part of the 1% wealthiest people in the world. They're not even just in the world, the United States, because let's be honest, the United States has all the big money, right? I'm part of the 1%. I still, although I'm very proud of everything I achieved, I still feel like I'm at the little money stage. Little money. Even though I'm in the 1%. That goes back to not comparing myself with other people. Because I could easily, if I looked at it, I'm like, I'm comparing myself against everybody. Oh my gosh, I have more money than the 99%. I could look at it that way. It doesn't interest me at all. At all. I'm thinking about like, I'm competing with myself and I'm still at a little money stage. If I'm blessed enough to be here for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, however long, right? I think I'm going to be way further along in this money game than where I'm at today. And I'll be able to look back and be like, dang, 35-year-old Jeremy, like, he was struggling. Like that's where you want to be. No different than I could look back at myself 10 years ago and be like, dang, man, I'm glad you were on the come up, but man, we didn't really have it like that back then. Man, just levels. Compete with yourself in this game. Compete with yourself. Think big. Think big about yourself. Be proud of what you're achieving. Be proud of what you've achieved, but also think big and think like I can do much bigger things than where I'm at today. Don't get complacent in this game. Very, very important. Also remember, I don't want to get religious on people, but I think there's some unbelievable things in the Bible, right? Luke 12:48, from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. Keep that in mind. If you ever learned in economics, what is there? There's no such thing as a free lunch. That's life. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So if you want to climb up the ranks when it comes to this money game, understand there will be more that will be asked of you. That's just the way it goes. I mean, think about all the richest people in the world that are on that billionaire list, right? What does a good segment of the population think? They think, oh, those people, they should give back more money. They should end poverty. They should end hunger. Just there's a lot of people that ask a lot of things. Imagine all the family members. I mean, everybody that's ever gotten rich in life, ever got a lot of money, right? Guess what ended up happening? Family members wanted some. People started to feel away. Oh, I deserve some of that. I deserve some of that. Oh, I helped you when this was at. I want some of that, right? You got to understand. That's just the way life is, right? If you achieve more in this life, there's going to be more asked to you. There's no way around that, right? Think about if you're the president of a country, how much is asked of you? And no matter what, it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Not for humans in this life, right? For God, it might be, but for humans in this life, it will never be enough. There's always going to be a segment that will always look at you a certain kind of way. That's just something you have to understand in this life, okay? Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's get into some stocks now at this point in time. I hope you guys really enjoyed that there. I hope that was motivational. I hope that was uplifting to you. And I hope for some of you guys that maybe are newer to this game, I hope that took you to a higher place mentally. And for those of you guys that have been doing this a long time, I think you probably just watched that whole 17-minute segment there and you're like, preach, man, because you're already on this wavelength and you just love hearing that, right? Alrighty, guys, first one of these three stocks that everyone should be buying right now or own is AMD. AMD. Everyone should buy the stock or own this stock. When you look at AMD, I mean, they're an unbelievable chip company that's in the forefront of several different major technological shifts that are going on right now and will be going on for the next several decades. And they're one of maybe two companies in the world that's extremely well positioned to benefit massively over this next 10, 20, 30 years. Whenever I think about these sorts of companies, I think about NVIDIA and I think about AMD, and they're the most well positioned. Now, to tell you how special the stock is as a buying opportunity right now, public account, it's a very illustrious account, right? And I've got so many stocks that have performed tremendous on SoFi and Revolve and Elf and Amazon and Palantir and PayPal and Tesla, Meta, right? Here's the deal. I'm going to add AMD to this portfolio this coming week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to add AMD this upcoming week. And in order to get in that portfolio, especially nowadays, you got to be a damn good company, man. I'm not just adding anybody nowadays. There's got to be something special about you to get in that portfolio. And when I look at AMD and I look at the growth rates, I look at where the valuation's at, I look at where I see things going on the technology side over this next 5-10 years. I mean, it's an incredible, incredible opportunity. And then the management team there with Lisa Su is unbelievable. With a great balance sheet at that company and the recent acquisitions they've done, they just set the company up so well. So yeah, I'm going to likely be adding that stock in this portfolio. And that's going to be one of those stocks that I'm going to look at a couple years from now and is going to say 100% plus gain. I truly believe that. I truly believe this stock will be a 300, 400, 500, even more than that dollar stock in the future, right? And so, and once again, if somebody can't buy a whole share of AMD, like I said, so many of these brokerages now allow you to buy slices of these stocks and start building out a portfolio, right? Now, additionally, I spoke about this stock a couple times recently on the channel. 5 days ago, I spoke about the stock. I believe it was one of the stocks I featured in 5 Stocks I'm Buying Now, December 2024 edition. So if you guys didn't get to check out that video, you can check that out for more in-depth analysis. And then this video here, I spent $33 on this stock today. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out that, I talk about like 5 stocks I put $33,000 in, was that 2 days ago or whatever. So if you didn't get to check out that video and you want to hear more about AMD talk and kind of analysis and whatnot, check out those videos there, okay? Alrighty guys, next one up here, second stock for these stocks that everybody needs to be buying right now or own, it's this one, Meta. Unbelievable company. I have over $1 million invested in this stock. I did not put $1 million plus in the stock. I put $201,000 into the stock in the public count, and I've now made $858,000 in the stock. Plus, I booked actually a ton of profits earlier this year, and I forgot about that. And I receive dividend money every 3 months from the stock as well. So money just pours in from Meta. But when it comes to Meta, you get Facebook, you get Instagram, you get Messenger, right? You get WhatsApp. You get Oculus, you get the Llama model, which is the future of AI. And so many, basically the Llama models, they're becoming very dominant for people building out AI-related products and services now at this point in time. So the fact that Meta is going to own the backbone of AI is going to be massive. It's like it's hard to even fathom and put that into numbers, what that means for Meta's business model over the long term here, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, the Meta Quest products, they're in the forefront of AR and VR technology, as well as the backbone of AI. I mean, my gosh. And they're actually one of the very few companies that's already starting to benefit massively from AI, right? Now, you may look at the stock, you may say, okay, you made a fortune on this stock, Jeremy, but is it still really a buy, right? It's great if you already own it, but is it still a buy? Here's the deal. Meta's still a buy. It's still an easy money buy. Even at this day and age, even after all the gains, it's still an easy money buy. This stock trades at a forward P of 25, which is actually very, very low. And keep in mind, Meta, what do they usually do? They come in and beat numbers. So when you see a 25 forward P, it's probably lower than that. It might be 22 or 23. But that roughly is in where the market's trading at in general. But here's the deal. Meta's a double-digit bottom line and top line grower, and you should pretty much count on that outside of some end-of-the-world recession. Like, basically, Meta should be a top line and bottom line grower, 10% plus a year, double digits for as far out as I can see, which means the dividends are going to be able to be upped substantially in regards to Meta stock, right? They're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so when I think about like an ultimate safety company, like if you told me there's one company I had to buy and I could not sell the stock for the next 10 years, and I had to have all my money invested into it, right? If you put me in that scenario, like one of the first stocks I'm going to think of is going to be Meta. It's one of the first stocks because I'm going to think about the risk of not being able to sell that stock for 10 years, the risk of I have to put all my money in and it has to be an individual stock. And if I'm thinking about it from that context, I think Meta sets up about as well as anybody for the next many, many years. And so they are the internet, right? They are what everybody uses to communicate. And they have those incredible levels of scale that you just can't mess with. And then you think about for a moment some of the products that have been built recently. And when I say recently, I'm just talking in the last, couple of years with this company. The Threads product continues to take off. That's more like an ex-competitor, formerly known as Twitter, right? And that product continues to take off on a bigger and bigger level, and engagement continues to go up on that product. So that's building out pretty darn rapidly. And I don't see that slowing really anytime soon. That's almost a brand new product, right? The Quest products, that's really been something that's really been taken off over the last few years. And so, think about from nothing to what they have today. And then think about the Llama models. And think about Llama now as being at the forefront of people building all these AI products and services. And like no one ever even heard of Llama 2 years ago, right? And so think about that. And now think, what are all the products and new products and services we're going to see from Meta over the next 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, when you just think about what they have today versus what they're going to have many years from now. And there's no reason to doubt the innovation cycle. So for instance, with a company like Apple, you could doubt the innovation cycle. Why? Well, because their two main legends went away from the company, right? Steve Jobs passed away, and Johnny Ive left the company several years ago. So now at this point in time, Apple has to have some sort of new DNA that can create great products and services in the future. All the money that Apple makes today is basically on the back of what Steve Jobs created and Johnny Ive, right? They're the ones that created the iPhone, the Mac, the iPad, all the products that are super popular nowadays, right? So now for Apple to be a super innovator, they got to find the next Steve Jobs or Johnny Ive at the company. That's tough. Meta, on the other hand, what if all these products and services, who's been the CEO of the company the whole time? That this whole thing's happened. Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg is 40 years old. Doesn't look like he's leaving the company anytime soon. He looks very dedicated. And the great thing about Zuckerberg is he doesn't have a million other projects going on. He doesn't have this other big company over here that he's got to worry about and this other big company over here. No. He focuses everything on Meta, in-house. That's just another reason why Meta will become the largest company in the world in market cap, in my opinion. The largest company. If I think about where is Meta stock a year from now, I think Meta stock a year from now is likely $900 to $1,000. And then a few years after that, we're $2,000 plus. And Meta will become the largest company. I've been calling it for several years now. I've been talking about Meta is going to be the largest company in the world. Still calling it. And they're climbing the ranks. They're climbing the ranks. Just wait. Just wait on it. They're going to become the largest company in the world. And one of the big reasons is because Zuckerberg is fully focused on Meta. He's not in a bunch of other projects, and that helps immensely. I can only imagine where Tesla would be if Elon Musk was just focused on Tesla. Like, holy smokes. Woo, that would be a fun situation, right? Before we get into the third stock of these three stocks here, I just want to let everybody know, if you're looking for access to my private stock group, you want to apply to join my private stock group. With myself, the 6, 7, 8-figure members get access to all my premium courses like Become a Master Stock Market, Millionaire Playbook, Stock Options Mastery, Dividend Investing Mastery, Financial Statements Mastery, as well as exclusive weekly videos from me. See the stocks I'm buying and selling in my nearly $3.1 million Fidelity account now. Plus, if you're looking for access to 1000xstocks.com and get that bundled in, we can bundle that in as well. That will be pinned comment down there. You can click on that, fill out an application. We'll see if we can get you access to all of that. Okay. Third stock of these three stocks up here is Nike. Rare buying opportunity. This stock is up 43,000% since they went IPO way back in the 1980s. Every once in a while, you get an incredible buying opportunity in regards to Nike. You had one right here. You had one right here. These were massive dips, by the way, in regards to stock. Right now, we look back and it's like, oh, it was nothing. But these were huge, actually, in this day. You had a massive buying opportunity in Nike right there. Massive buying opportunity in Nike right there. And then recently, you've had this massive buying opportunity. Very, very rare situation here for just a one-of-one company. I mean, just as legendary companies get. I mean, an apparel company to become this dominant and this large of a market share is just incredible, right? Now, I spoke about Nike. It was actually the first stock I led off with in this particular video here. 6 stocks to buy and hold forever. Nike is one of those stocks that when you get one of these rare opportunities to buy like we have right now in front of ourselves, you buy, and you buy, and you buy. And you hold that stock for the long term. It's a one-on-one company. It's a free company, and you never let it go. And they're pretty much impossible to duplicate what they've done over the last several decades. So that's definitely one that you could just feel very comfortable buying, building out a great size position in, and holding for many, many years, along with obviously AMD, Meta, and some other stocks I spoke about here recently on the channel. Okay. Now, the moral of the story is get invested, folks. Get building your portfolios. If you're not going to reach 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures in your portfolio, if you stand by twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the next crash, waiting for this, waiting for that, you got to get invested, folks. You know, I've been fortunate to see so many people come through the private group, learn, adapt what they learn, right? Get results and build out massive portfolios. It's time for you to get building, okay? Look at this. I just signed up. This was just on December 2nd here in 2024. I signed up 2 new 7-figure members, 2 7-figure members. They hit that this past week in the private group. And then 14 people in the private group hit 6 figures, which is very exciting. So yeah, might be your time, okay? Alrighty, guys, once again, if you're looking to apply, join private group, pin comment down there. Get building, get invested, build up your portfolio, and look back and be a happy camper many, many years from now. Much love and have a great day.